Okay, so while we were all kind of sequestered here in our home, I thought I would take the opportunity to show you how to make maybe just a quick dinner that you can make with just minimal ingredients, something easy that you might have at your house already. So I'm going to start with our ingredients. So I've got some peeled and deveined shrimp here. I've already blanched these broccoli florets. I've got some kale. This is an organic purple kale. Any kind of kale would work. You can leave the kale out if you want. I've got some lemons, some butter here. Then I've also got some cooked rotini pasta. If you wanted to use spaghetti or some other kind of noodle, certainly use anything you want. And then I just made a little marinara sauce here. And you can use a jar sauce if that's all you had, or just crushed tomatoes, or even just oil and garlic would be fine if that's what you prefer. I also have some garnishing ingredients over here. I chopped a little bit of fresh parsley from the garden, some chiffonade of basil, that's like those thin ribbons, a little bit of shaved Parmesan, and then some sliced lemons, and a little bit of grated Parmesan also. So to get to our meal, I've already preheated my pan. I put a little bit of oil in there. I'm going to add the shrimp, okay? And I'm going to put about 6 or 8 shrimp in here. It's already hot. I've already put a little bit of oil in there. I am going to add some butter here in a minute. 6, 7, 8. We'll do 9. We'll do 10 shrimp. We'll do 10 shrimp. That looks good. And then all you want to do is kind of get these shrimp cook really fast. Okay. So this is also like a really quick dish you can make. Once you do all the prep, of course, do all your mise en place, have everything ready to go like I did, and so that way you can make this really fast. As you see this shrimp start to turn kind of pink and orange, that's the pigment in there, or the letting you know that it's cooked. And so when we get about half or 3/4 of the way cooked, we're going to start to add some of our other ingredients here. Because you don't want to overcook shrimp, it'll get kind of rubbery tasting. So now we're going to add some of this blanched broccoli, really nice. All you do is just a little bit of water in the bottom of a pan, put the broccoli over the top of it, put a lid on it. Bring it to a boil for just about 2-3 minutes, and then get it cold as fast as you can so you can get that nice color and then maintain all that crispness. Okay, we're going to put a little handful of that in there. Okay, move that around a little bit. Now, because that was blanched and chilled, you want to rewarm that broccoli just a touch. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Okay. Now I've got some of this organic kale here. You can use any kale. You could just leave the kale out if you want. You could use spinach. It really is up to you. It does add some nutritive value, adds a little bit of color to it, makes it a little bit more unique. That's totally your option there. And again, you don't even have to use shrimp. You could use chicken. You could use scallops. You could just do all vegetables if you wanted to. You don't even have to have any kind of protein in here if you don't want to have that. But once you see that kale starting to wilt down just a little bit, we're going to add our pasta. And this is a rotini pasta, which is kind of a vegetable corkscrew looking pasta here. You could use noodles if you want. If you do noodles, I would maybe hold off on the noodles until after the sauce because you don't want to break those up too much. Okay. So again, that was cooked and it was slightly chilled, and so we want to make sure we get it nice and warm before we add our sauce. Okay. I'm going to put a small pat of butter in here. This is just whole butter. I'm going to put a little bit of just right there like that. And of course, you can't ever really have too much butter. Okay, and we are just about done with this. This is a really quick thing if you're all prepped. You want to put a ladle of sauce on there. Get that all stirred in. Make sure everything is nice and warm. And you don't want to overcook anything because you want that shrimp to not be too rubbery. You want that broccoli to maintain its really nice color. Okay, and one of the last things we're going to do, we're going to hit this with a little bit of lemon. Make sure you watch those seeds in there. I'm going to pull those little seeds out, set them off to the side. Just a little bit of lemon, just a little bit of acidity to kind of go with that shrimp along with the tomato. We'll garnish it with a little lemon too. All right. We're gonna bring this over to the plate now. We're gonna go ahead and do our finishing. Before we do that, we're gonna hit it with just a little bit of, all our stuff was seasoned, but we wanna do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And if you want it spicy at this point, you can put some crushed red pepper in there or something like that. That would be nice also. Okay. I'm gonna put that to the side. A little bit of parsley here, a little bit of our chiffonade of basil in there. Let that I like the fresh herbs kind of right at the end, because the heat that's already in this pan will kind of let them release their flavor a little bit. But then they kind of maintain that nice, really bright, kind of fresh quality to them. Spoon that into your bowl. You don't have to have a fancy bowl. I got a fancy bowl, but I only have one, so not a big deal. Just try to get that in there. A good portion of it. Make sure you get some of those veggies in there and that shrimp. There's some of that broccoli on top. Set that aside. We're going to do kind of our finish up garnishing here. So I've got some grated Parmesan here, and I'm going to sprinkle around. It kind of spreads that flavor out just a little bit on there. I'm going to put a couple little slices of lemon here off to the side. I've got a nice little bouquet of fresh basil from our garden out there. And then even though I had the Parmesan on there already, I'm going to put some of this shaved Parm on here and kind of get that nice sharp quality of that. And then a fork, and you are ready to eat. So this is a really easy dish that you can make at home. And again, you don't have to have shrimp. You could use chicken, you could use scallops, you could just do all vegetables. You could put mushrooms and broccoli in here. If you don't like broccoli, you could use asparagus, you could use zucchini, lots and lots of options. So enjoy.